guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to start off by saying I have a sinus infection, so if I sound kind of weird, that's why. I'm not really feeling very well. But last night I finished 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, and I have to say it instantly became a favorite of mine. I really like these types of books with like people coming together from all different parts of their lives and coming together for a common cause, like the Raven Boys or like Harry Potter, you know. 6 of Crows definitely is a good example of that. It was basically a band of misfits that got together for a common cause. So the way that I'm going to be doing this video is the first section I'll do a non-spoiler review of it, and then the second half I will do a spoiler review because I want to go through the tabs, and clearly I tabbed this one up a lot, and I want to talk about everything I liked, everything I didn't like, and yeah. So to give an explanation of this book, basically it is about this group of 6 people who have to go to complete a basically impossible heist, and it is about this guy named Kaz Brecker, and he's kind of like he's the leader of the Dregs, which is a gang in Ketterdam, which is where they live, that basically he rules, and he will pretty much do anything for money. And he's kind of known as like the guy who will do anything for money. He is very highly regarded in ways that like he's very dangerous and you don't want to mess with him, stuff like that. And so one day he is approached by a councilman of Ketterdam. Basically the councilman approaches him, well, not really approaches him, but you get to that, and basically tells him, I want you to do this heist for these reasons, and you can pick your crew, you know, all that stuff, and they get paid a lot of money for it. So basically this entire book is just about the crew getting together and trying to complete the heist, and I loved it. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I really liked Leigh Bardugo's writing style, and I felt like she had a really good ability to write characters, especially backstories on characters, because sometimes I know like this world was definitely different than like, it wasn't set in like wasn't really set in like reality. It was very much different names, like different types of money systems, everything like that. So I think Leigh Bardugo did a really good job at the world building and explaining just enough to let you understand it, but not too much world building, because sometimes that can be kind of drug on and overdone. But I think she did just the right amount. I was a little confused in the beginning, and if you've read it or you do read it, you'll understand why. But because you don't really know what's going on, and then as the story unfolds, you start to learn a lot more. So I did enjoy that, not being told everything out the back. You know, as you keep reading, you start to learn more. I really enjoyed all the characters in this novel, because they were all different but the same, because they kind of had to be of the same mindset in order to, you know, want to do the heist. They're all kind of ragtag and like not very high up in structure or in level of economy, you know, living stature. So I think so it was a very sometimes violent story, so it was really good to have those moments of like comedic relief, and all the banter in here was so good. I loved all the banter in this story. It really made it for me. The purple ones are the ones that I think are funny. So as you can see, there's a lot of purple moments. Although I did just get new tabs, and I kind of had to change up my system of how I annotate. But yeah, I did annotate this because this is one of the books that I knew I was gonna really like. I've heard really good things, and it kind of seems right up my alley, like YA fantasy, YA adventure. But yeah, so orange is for all the important, green is for stuff I didn't like, purple is for funny, pink is for love, and blue is for sad. And so and not that I didn't like about the book, the green is more for like stuff in the book that made me angry, like a certain character did or something like that. But overall, I thought that the story was executed really well. It obviously left off on a cliffhanger because there is Crooked Kingdom, which is the sequel. I think that the characters complemented each other very well, and that like Kaz and Inej, they're more like serious, and Matthias is they're very serious, headstrong characters. Inej less than the others, but like Nina and Wylan and Jesper are more like the funny kind of comedic relief characters. So I would say that my favorite character, it's literally a three-way tie between Kaz, Inej, and Nina. And that is because I really resonated with Nina a lot. I thought that her humor was really funny. Most of the purple moments were from her. I really liked her character. But Inej, I couldn't relate to her story, but I like felt it. Like I enjoyed her backstory a lot. And Kaz has a very sad backstory as well. So, you know, you just see how they deal with these things and how it makes them who they are. And I just think that Leigh Bardugo did a really great job. There was a couple of slow moments in here, but not too bad. But yeah, if you want to read a story about a group of 6 people, and honestly, most of you have probably read this already, and if you haven't, please pick it up. I really highly suggest it. But if you want to read a book about a magical heist, essentially, with a group of 6 awesome people and how they attempt to get it done, definitely the book for you. So now we are getting into the spoiler section, and this is when I'm going to go through my favorite quotes. I wrote down, like, for each part, I wrote down sticky notes, because I think there was like 6 parts, maybe? Let me check. Yeah, there was 6 parts. I wrote down sticky notes for all of them, kind of just a recap of what happened and how I felt. And yeah, so I'm just going to bring you guys through that. So Ketterdam was definitely kind of confusing at first for me. It took me a while to get like adjusted to the terms and what meant what, but I think annotating actually did help, because when I forgot, I could just go back and review it and just kind of see, oh, like this means this means that, you know. Something that definitely grabbed my attention in the beginning was the mention of Geordie. And if you've read it, you know that that is Kaz's brother, who unfortunately passed away. But I really liked how Leigh Bardugo kind of like Easter egg dropped him throughout the book, enough to keep you intrigued, but it didn't capture your mind the whole time, like, oh my gosh, why aren't we finding about Geordie, you know. I think it was something that she mentioned enough to get you curious, but not something that made you angry when you had to wait so long to figure out who he was. So this is the note that I wrote to go into part 3, and it says, so far my favorite character is probably Kaz/Inej, because they're both badasses with a tortured past. I really like Nina and Jesper too because they tend to provide comedic relief, which is vital in books like this. Least favorite is definitely Matthias, and Wylan is good as well. I need to know him more. So Matthias was one of the characters that definitely grew on me. Whenever he was about to betray Nina and press the button to get her the Jurda Parim, I think that's how you say it, I literally wrote, I'm really hoping he's gonna punch Brum or something, because I can't take a betrayal right now. I definitely didn't think that he was going to, like, I definitely thought it was like a ploy from the beginning, and then later on you find out that he did see Nina with Brum, and that she was going to get, or that he planned to like save her pretty much the whole time, but he like really realized what he was doing was wrong in that time, and that really made me grow towards him, I think. And and a part that made me so mad, but I'm kind of glad he did it, was whenever Kaz and Nina were supposed to go and we're supposed to go search the top level of the cells to see if the scientist, I can never get his name right, whenever he was going to find a Bo Yul Bayer, I think that's the scientist's name, who was creating the Jurda Parim, and he went to go do his own agenda and just kind of left Nina by herself, and that's literally what set off the alarms and what caused them to change their whole plan. Granted, it did work out, But I was just like, oh my gosh. But I mean, in the end of the book, he kind of needed that leverage to be able to go get Inej. I haven't read Cookie Kingdom yet, but yeah. So I wrote right after he left and like stranded her by herself. I wrote, I understand Kaz's reasoning for going to find Rollins, but it's selfish because everyone is depending on him, and now Nina set off the alarm because of it. So I was like, dude, you have all these people here depending on you, and like you always have your own plans, and like most of the time that's good, but I was like, dude, you just left her. I was so mad. And a part that made me really sad was like every single time, I felt like every single time that Inej and Kaz had a moment, it was followed by something bad. Like it was never just like a good moment, you know what I mean? Oh, and the only part that really I was like, oh my god, was whenever Inej got really hurt, and I think she was like stabbed in the side, and Nina was like doing her magic to help her, and he said, so this is this is Inej talking about climbing through the incinerator, and she says, and Kaz says, can you do it? Her dark brow rose. Is there another option? No. So if I say I can't make the climb, will you tell Spec, I think it's Spec, to turn the boat around and take us back to Ketterdam? I'll find another option, said Kaz. I don't know what, but I'm not giving up that haul. You know I can do it, Kaz, and you know I'm not going to refuse, so why ask? And Kaz says, because I've been looking for an excuse to talk to you for 2 days. It's just so cute, like, because like I know he feels something for her, but he like won't let himself get there, and obviously it's because of stuff with his past. And I thought it was really interesting how he always wears the gloves because of what happened with his brother, and like touching his brother's skin whenever he was like so sick and disgusting basically, and when he just had to like let him float away in the river because he knew he couldn't save him, so he just had to like survive for himself at this point. But like the fact that he let Inej touch his face without moving for so long, because he hates when people touch his skin, so like that just really solidifies like his feelings for her. I definitely feel like I want him to tell her, and I hope that happens in Crooked Kingdom. But I really enjoyed this story. There was so many different emotions, and each character made me feel something, and I really like Jasper and Wylan too. They were a nice dynamic to have compared to like Nina and Matthias, or like Inej and Kaz, and because they were kind of just more cutesy and like flirting and stuff, so I thought that was really cute. As for Nina and Matthias, it really angered me whenever he would make the remarks like, Grishas aren't humans and they don't know how to be moral, and I'm like, dude, look at like how you grew up, look at how you're treating these people. And it was just really frustrating, but at the end he grew. But overall, yeah, no, he was my least favorite character, but I didn't dislike him. I just, out of all of these wonderful characters, he was kind of the one that I definitely related to the least. But I'm glad he had some development, and I hope that in the future he has more of a development. I definitely think Nina can do better because she's awesome. Literally, I love her so much. But you know, you like who you like. That's that. This was literally, as you can see, I underlined it a lot. This was probably one of my favorite scenes. It was just after they jumped into the hole, like Kaz, Nina, and Matthias, and the scientist's son. I can't remember his name. I think his name was Kwai, something like that. I think his name was Quay, and he was like thinking of all the bad things, like, oh, this might happen, and oh, Pekka Rollins is gonna come and get me and all this stuff. And then he said, but then it says, but all he could think of was Inej. She had to live. She had to make it out of the ice court, and if she hadn't, then he had to live to rescue her. The ache in his lungs was unbearable. He needed to tell her. What? That she was lovely and brave and better than anything he deserved. That he was twisted, crooked, wrong, but not so broken that he couldn't pull himself together into some semblance of a man for her. That without meaning to, that he'd begun to lean on her, to look for her, to need her near. he needed to thank her for his new hat. Like, that is so good. That literally calls back to like chapter 3 or something, whenever he gets captured by Van Eck and his hat gets taken, and then she got him a new hat and he never said thank you. But like, it's so simple, but at the same time it's like he has such a soft spot for her, and I just really hope that their relationship develops as Crooked Kingdom goes on. And yeah, so that's pretty much all my thoughts on 6 of Crows. Please leave your comments down below. Hopefully no spoilers, just kind of how you guys feel, because I want people to be able to watch it and enjoy the video if they haven't read it. But yeah, if you haven't picked up this book, please do. It is so phenomenal. I loved it so much. It's definitely one of my favorites. And I don't think I'm going to pick up Crooked Kingdom next, because I want to get to Chain of Gold. So right now I'm reading the Infernal Devices series. I'm going to read the 2, like the short stories from the Shadowhunter Chronicles, you know, like the short stories, and then Chain of Gold, and then Crooked Kingdom. I kind of just, I'm just going to take like a break from this world. And I really I did miss being back in the Shadowhunter world. But thank you guys so much for watching my video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.